12 years ago, I bleached my hair purple and it became my brand. But what started off with something that was a fun self-expression kind of turned into a little bit of a nightmare. My hair was thinning, I was experiencing breakage, I felt trapped, and honestly, I got to a breaking point where I decided to just shave half of it off. If you're on a healthy hair journey, this video is for you. I'm gonna share my tips, products, and things I wish I would have known before diving into the world of bleaching my hair. Now, there is something super personal about hair, and sometimes I feel like it starts to define us or even become who we are. And growing up, I've always loved the idea of colored hair. My mom let me dye my hair for the first time at the age of 14, and I've always wanted to dye my entire hair a certain color, but I didn't actually do it until after I walked down the aisle because my mom convinced me that I didn't want to have purple hair in my wedding photos, which I'm actually kind of glad she did that. But the very first time I went purple, I fell so in love. I've always had dark hair, so seeing my hair in a lighter form was just new and refreshing. It was so healthy and luscious when I first dyed it. It was honestly an instant confidence boost. But here is something that nobody tells you when you have bright colored hair. That is the maintenance. The upkeep is absolutely insane. I'm talking touch-ups at home every single week because it's too expensive to go to the salon every single time. And whatever color you are working with, it's most likely that your tub is gonna turn that color, your nails will turn that color, your towels will be that color. Everything will constantly be that color, and you will go through so many dye bottles. And that's without mentioning all of the salon visits, which is very, very pricey. I'm talking somewhere between $300 to $500 per visit once your roots grow out. Now, luckily, I was able to find a hairstylist who was open to bartering our services. So she would dye my hair and I would promote her. So that cut down costs for me, but that doesn't happen for everybody and it is very rare. So I was very appreciative of that. Shout out to Jennifer for always keeping my hair looking fresh. But not only will it get very pricey, but it will also take a lot of your time. So it was like 5+ hours every time I would visit the salon. It was a whole day, a very big commitment. And honestly, I'm surprised I did it for so long. And I think the reason why I did it for so long was because it became my brand. People knew me as the girl with purple hair. Now, it sounds really cool in theory, but I remember feeling trapped by my hair. Like my hair was defining me.
You can't get rid of me. Yeah, I am you.
And I couldn't change it because if I changed it, then that would ruin the whole entire brand. Kind of similar to like when people get used to you in a specific style, you feel like you can't really explore anything out of that style because people like to put you in buckets. But my real wake-up call was about 8 years ago when I was just so unhappy every time I would look in the mirror. My hair was thinning, the color just did not stick how it used to. It was just brittle and crunchy. For the most part on camera, it didn't look too bad, but in real life, in person, you can totally tell my hair was fried and it really did bring down my confidence. And I would always hear people tell me that you need to be really careful when you're bleaching your hair, and I was aware of that. I don't really think I was bleaching it too often, but still, there's nothing that you can really do when you're adding those chemicals to your hair. And I felt like I was pretty careful when I was bleaching my hair. Like I didn't bleach it super often. I want to say maybe like twice a year. And I went to a reputable person, but my hair just did not like it and it completely destroyed the integrity of my hair. So that's when I made what some people would call a very drastic decision. I shaved half of it off. Honestly, it was a very scary decision, but I thought to myself, why not? Hair will grow back. I might as well do it while my hair is growing. And then I can say that I had a side shave. Been there, done that, we can move on. But one thing that I didn't expect was how therapeutic it was to shave off half of my hair, especially in a world where hair is considered beautiful. You know, you're kind of just going against the norm and just shaving it off. So then after I shaved it, then began the regrowth, or as I like to call it, the rebirth. I was growing out my natural color and didn't want to dye it just because I wanted to see my hair healthy again. And so I was playing with different alternatives, wigs, extensions, halos. I honestly missed the vibrant colors, so I was just toying around with different alternatives. I found that wigs were really fun, but they were pretty pricey. They still had an upkeep that you had to maintain them, and I, for one, would get so hot wearing a wig, and it would just feel so heavy. Sometimes when I was recording videos, I would be like sweating under this thing. It was so uncomfortable, not really practical for my lifestyle, or says someone who lives here in sunny California. Hair extensions were another thing, but I found that you had to be super careful when you wash your hair. You have to sleep a certain way, and you couldn't put your hair up in certain styles. So that really didn't work for me either. And the more and more I tried these different alternatives, the more I realized that there is nothing that just beats natural, healthy hair. But there is one specific key to my story that kind of changed everything, and that was me becoming pregnant. 2021 was the year I got pregnant, and it completely changed my perspective on hair and hair care. If you've never been pregnant before around anyone who's been pregnant, then you might not know that becoming pregnant makes you more aware of what you put in and on and around your body, because you're growing another human being inside of you. So you want to stay away from any chemicals. So this started my journey of non-toxic living and looking into products that are non-toxic, that are still healthy and beneficial to my hair. I remember in the beginning, my non-toxic journey was pretty overwhelming. I just wanted to get rid of everything, but it's been a slow and steady process. If you want another video on that, let me know if you're interested, and I can share with you products that I switched out. But I started doing a lot of research. I found some really helpful apps that have made it easier for you to find products that work with you. And then it was just a lot of trial and error, seeing what products work with my hair and which ones that I like. Just a lot of exploring, a lot of discovering, and a lot of reading labels. Fast forward to 2024, I'm getting a hang of non-toxic products, and also TikTok is just really booming with so much information on hair health and self-care and beauty. And I felt like my world was just opened up, and I learned so much from other people online. I came across videos that talked about hair routines, which is something that I never even considered. So I wanted to run you through my current hair routine and the products that I'm currently using. So I will do once a week hair oiling and hair mask treatments at home. I alternate between Briogeo Scalp Revival Rosemary and a DIY oil I make at home. For my mask, I use Briogeo Don't Despair Repair Deep Conditioner Mask, and this will just go on the tips of my hair. And usually I'll leave this in for about an hour, get a really good workout in, get my sweat on, because I'm gonna wash my hair after. When I wash my hair, I will alternate between a deep clarifying shampoo. I really love Way. This is my second bottle of it, and I just feel like it really cleans my scalp. And then second wash of the week is a charcoal exfoliant. I use Briogeo Scalp Revival Micro Exfoliating Shampoo. Now I normally like to do a good wash twice a week, and then depending on how my workouts go and how sweaty I get, then I will do another wash in between if it gets really sweaty. But a good rule of thumb is to not wash your hair every single day, at least skip every other day, so that your scalp can get those natural oils on your head, because they're really beneficial. And I know sometimes it looks oily, but just alternate your hairstyles depending on the oiliness. After every wash, I will condition in the shower, and then I also put in a leave-in conditioner to really just hydrate my hair. I alternate between Briogeo Farewell Frizz and Way leave-in conditioner. I also began incorporating collagen into my diet. I'm currently using Orgain collagen peptides, but it's kind of tricky with collagen because you have to read the label and make sure that the brands don't change ownership, because I've just bounced around to different ones because they've got bought out. So I'm still looking for a really good one. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to leave a comment. So collagen has a lot of different health benefits, but one of them is hair growth and nail growth. So I will add this to a drink, sometimes a protein shake, or even my matcha. Most of the powders I've tried don't have a taste, so they just melt right into your drink. I also started incorporating more herbal teas into my diet. So I will drink at least 1 cup of tea a day. I alternate depending on my cycle. I drink green oolong tea, peppermint, chamomile, rosemary. All of these have massive benefits, but they can also help your hair. One last thing I wanted to include that isn't a part of a routine, but it's just something to be more aware of, and that is to use less heat styling tools. Just staying away from any hot irons, and if I do use them, always use a heat protectant. But if you're interested in learning more about the Dyson Airwrap, I actually did a full review on that product, and you can check it out here. So now that you have my full routine, here is what I wish I would have known, and I'm gonna pass my wisdom onto you. Everything starts with scalp health. I was so focused on hair itself, on the colors and styling and products, that I completely ignored the foundation where hair actually grows. I like to think of it as my scalp is the soil in a garden. Bear with me. It is the foundation, and you can't grow a healthy garden if you don't have any nutrients in the soil. So those nutrients on your scalp will come from the natural oils on your head, the oils you're putting onto your head, stimulating and massaging the hair follicles, and also what you put into your body. So as cliche as it sounds, it goes beyond surface level, and it's what's on the inside that counts. And I'm not saying by any means that no one can bleach their hair and still have healthy hair. That is not the case. If you still decide to bleach your hair, just be more aware of what you're putting onto it and how often you're doing it, and still do these healthcare routines to keep your hair follicles as healthy as you possibly can. Consistency beats intensity. So just be consistent with your hair care routine and just pay attention to how your hair actually looks. It's okay to give your hair a break and let your roots grow out. Now, I know some might just think that it's just hair, it will grow back, it doesn't define you. I've actually learned a lot from my hair care journey. I've learned patience, acceptance, and just viewing my self-image, and the importance of taking care of yourself both inside and out. And my hair is by no means perfect now. I am still on the journey. I'm still experimenting, still learning, still growing. Literally. But it's healthy. It is the longest it has ever been, and I am so happy with it, and it just makes me feel so much more confident. But I want to keep this an open conversation. Please feel free to leave your comments, tips, and tricks about hair care below, and if you want to check out that Dyson Airwrap review, here it is right here. Thank you so much for watching.